Peace, peace, peace to the family. This is Brandon B. Dixon, and you're tuned into part 3 of the Billionaire Mind State Lecture, the final part. And for those who just catch this part 3, didn't tune in the first 2 parts, what this is a prologue to my book that's coming out in the next few weeks. Entitled, you're gonna have to stay tuned for the title, but it's coming out in the next few weeks. This is a prologue to it. I'm getting you kind of brushing on topics that you're gonna find in the book. And the book is not only just about the billionaire mind state, but it's about so much more. It's about life in general. It's about a variety of topics, but they all relate to one another. But let me go ahead and introduce myself, and let's go ahead and get straight into it because I'm not going to keep y'all too long. My name is Brandon B. Dixon. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a mortgage broker. I am a community activist. I'm a published author. I'm about to be 2 times published author. Sales trainer, so on and so forth. If you want to go ahead and get a mortgage, go to www.hocmortgage.com. Mortgage season is upon us. Go ahead, start right there. Fill out the application. Refis are going crazy because of the coronavirus thing. So interest rates are real low right now. So go ahead and take advantage of that. If you want to book me for mentorship, public speaking, sales training, so on and so forth. You need me to write a curriculum. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I do. Go to www.billionaireloanofficer.com. Again, or you can call me 24/7. Call me 832-775-8357. Also at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. So go ahead and follow me, like, subscribe. The Power of Ownership podcast comes out every week. Please go ahead and send us some, feedback. Go ahead and go on our YouTube and leave comments, so on and so forth. That's available. I'm not going to keep y'all too long, so let me go ahead and crack right into it. This particular lecture, the 3rd part, I titled The Art of Taking Action. And I was inspired by this book that I read by Greg Kretsch. And he basically breaks it down into 5 parts, but I'm going to get into it later on when I go over the meat of the presentation. But I want to recap for those who didn't join us what I talked about in the first 2 lectures. And this is what's leading up to the art of taking action. First lecture, I talked about epigenetics and detoxing to break the generational curses that we were bestowed upon us. Epigenetics, go ahead and study that again. I give all the sources in the book, but one of the sources that I'm going to give right now is Bruce Lipton. He's kind of like the modern day face of the epigenetic movement. Yes, and I have had some people comment, "Oh, not all this epigenetics." Nah, I understand that. This is just getting people's beak wet to go ahead and study the subject at hand. On the lecture, I just want to. This is the point. With lectures, I got to keep it moving. I want to keep it entertaining. I don't want to lose too many people. First of all, this subject's so heavy and dense, it's going to lose most people anyway. So, trying to keep it entertaining. I don't want to dive too granular in one subject because that gets boring. And a lot of people want microwave scholarship nowadays. So, it is what it is. Epigenetics. Study it if you want to dive deep. Bruce Lipton, amongst others. Basically, what that talked about is we talked about how we were fooled, or not really fooled. We were led. It's a false paradigm thinking that our genetics made us locked into a matrix, made us to where if I'm bald, if my grandfather's bald, I'm going to be bald. If I'm going to be a worker, my grandfather was a worker, most likely I'm going to be a worker. And it's hard to break that generational curse. And we've come to find out is not the actual genetics themselves, it's the environment that unlocks that particular genetic code. And your subconscious mind is being programmed, especially in the theta stage of your development, which is age 1 through 7, where your grandparents, your mother, your father are telling you things over and over and over, and those things are locked in your subconscious mind, and that's what gave you your operating systems in order to be. And I'll give you an example. I was telling this to my cousin the other day. The reason why I've never had a broken bone in my life and never been very severely injured is because even with car wrecks and stuff like that, because my grandmother, who I was raised by primarily, I was kind of raised on a team effort, but primarily my grandmother on my mother's side, she always said, she was always paranoid of me breaking something. So she was, don't do this, you're gonna break your arm. Don't do this, you're gonna break your leg. Don't do this, you're gonna. So I always was cautious about breaking something. And lo and behold, 40 years later, I've never broken anything because I've been so cautious about driving, so cautious about hitting something hard, or so cautious about watching what I'm doing. It's in my subconscious mind not to break anything. That's bad. So I talked about how powerful that is if you could reprogram your subconscious mind. Instead of having poverty, you could program your subconscious mind into prosperity. Because all of us have this pretty much the same genetic codes. It's just variations here and there. And it's the subconscious mind that unlocks these particular genomes and then manifests what you want to manifest. So I gave you practical applications on the first lecture. Talked about how can you detox what you've been programmed. Talked about going to deep meditation, going into a reflection period where you're purging all of those toxins out. And when I mean toxins, I mean whatever people told you in the past, those things that your subconscious mind soaked up, those bad relationships, those bad friendships. Purge all of that stuff. Reflect, forgive them, forgive yourself. Purge all of that stuff, and then start new. And that's where I pick up on the second lecture. The second lecture I talked about, since we are pretty much hit the factory reset button, now we have to upload new apps to get started. And those apps have to be specific and pointed into the field I want them to point. First of all, you got to know who you want to be and which field you want to be in. And you have to be the best, the GOAT in that field. So your operating system has to be, if everybody else is on 10, yours has to be on 100. So your daily, I walked you through how to do that, how to set up your goals and your operating system by researching and becoming a beast in that particular field. And the second part was called Upload Beast. It's all about setting up what you're about to do next, and which is the art of taking action. So you set it up by research, being the best student of the game, being the best research, knowing what it's going to take in order to exceed and outdo yourself and blow away the competition. So all of these, just like a computer, all of these new operating systems should be out of the stratosphere of where you used to be. So you're going to remanufacture yourself. You're going to be a whole new being. So that's going to be one of the that's one of the tenets of the Billionaire Mind State. So you got to be on a whole nother plateau, a whole nother plane. So that takes us to the third part. Now that we've been well researched, now that we purge, the last thing is going to be, now, how can we take action? What do we need to do on a daily basis in order to execute this game plan that I've set up? And we talked about this a little bit on the first two in our recap. We talked about how people, 90% of people won't bust a grade. They take action. They refuse to take action. They refuse to do anything. And we talked about how 9% makes one or two plays and then stop. So how do you, and you're going to have to do this in order to be in a billionaire mind frame, because you're going to have to make plays over and over and over and over and over that outdo the competition. You're going to have to be in a Hall of Fame type caliber performance. This is what it is. You're going to have Hall of Fame type performance in your category. So what do you do on a daily basis, or what type of psychology, or what type of speeches, or what type of motivation do you give yourself in order to take this action? And how do you set yourself up to make this action easy for yourself? And action is not a science to me. Action, taking action, is an art. And I'm gonna break down the 5 parts of my guy Greg Kretsch was talking about. But let's take a second to look at the word take action. Doesn't say give action. Doesn't say somebody give me action. The Lord give me strength. Nah, this says take action. You got to take it. Nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody's going to make you do it. Nobody's going to allow you to cut the line. You have to take action. That should tell you something off top. You know, it's a mind frame. The mind frame is this, that, and Raekwon said this on his first album. I know I quote a lot of rappers, but I come from the hip hop era. Say half of us will try to make it, the other half will try to take it. And most people took that as, hey, I'm trying to take it, I'm gonna try to rob them. Nah. Most people, when the makers, they're trying to compromise with the system. They're trying to reason with the system. Takers, I'm going to take what I need from the system. See the difference in the mind frame? One is a ferocious Mamba mentality, like, you know, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. The other is hoping and wishing. If you're in a taker position, I'm going to take this and I'm going to take action. I'm going to make you respect me, and I'm going to make you make the universe bend to my will. But you got to take action. It's all about the frequency. It's all about the action to make the universe bend. Let's get into it a little bit. Greg Kretsch, go ahead and pick up the book, The Art of Taking Action by Greg Kretsch. And he talked about it's an inside look at Japanese philosophy and psychology. And I'll briefly go over the 5 steps that he talked about, and I'm gonna elaborate on them a little bit, and then I'll go into my own little spill. But again, I'm gonna try to keep this about 45 minutes. First off, before I go into it, let me ask you this, and I talked about this on a little bit on the first part. Why do some people have no problem getting out of bed as soon as that alarm clock hit, and other people keep hitting snooze and procrastinate? Pretty soon, half of the stuff that they had planned for the day never gets accomplished. They keep kicking the can down the road. What's the difference between that person that can't wait to get up the next day to attack their goals, as opposed to that person who loves the bed, who loves sleep? Are they that tired? Are they that sleep deprived? Or is it something else? My theory is this, and we talked about this on the first thing, and I'm just setting the stage for this. My theory is that most people are self-sabotaging. They do not want themselves to be successful. And it's something that happens, you know, in their childhood that's inhibiting it. Their parents probably told them that you weren't going to be successful. The parent probably told them that you're too fragile to handle the pressure of being on top. The parents probably told them that, you know, or friends or whatever probably told them that you can't do it. So consciously they say, yes, I can do it, but their subconscious holding them back. And it almost feel like that bed got arms that's grabbing you back and telling you lay back down. That's your subconscious mind telling you not to succeed, that you can't do it. So again, you have to purge this. We talked about the first lecture. You have to purge this before you even get to this step. If you try to skip steps, you're going to be back into that loop. You must meditate and get rid of those particular quote unquote demons. You got to get rid of those debilitations in your own psyche in order to get to this step. You only can take this third step if you're clean. Let's get into it. The first step he talked about is a Sanskrit word. It's a Arambashura. I'm not good at pronunciation, but it's a Sanskrit word. And basically what he's talking about is most people, when they set goals and they set out to do something on a journey, they're heroes. They're heroes in the beginning. They come out the gate flaming, boom. And they come out wild and full of enthusiasm, full of piss and vinegar. And as soon as they hit one obstacle, as soon as they get punched in the face, all the air just comes out of them. And they give up. So what he talks about on this particular step one is start off at a gradual pace, at a regular pace, and you save that energy for that first time you get punched in the face, or that first time you hit a plateau, or that first time you hit a wall, because you're going to need that in order to get above that wall. So most people, or I call them the firecracker technique, where people start off fast and they skyrocket, then they explode and then come crashing to the ground. So learn how to distribute your energy. Don't come out, if you start a new workout plan, don't come out the first couple of weeks and try to kill it. You get hurt or get injured, then you're back in the bed for another year. Trust me, I've done this before. You start off gradual. And then you keep busting through these plateaus. As you reach a plateau, which you will, use that energy, that hero energy, to bust through another plateau. And so on and so forth. I'll give you one more example, then I'm going to move to the second part. I've lost weight. My weight ebbs and flows. People that know me, my weight fluctuates. A couple of years I fluffed up. A couple of years I'm lean and shredded. How I've always lost weight is that it's increments. You get to where you're 50 to 70 pounds down. You let your equilibrium get even and get equal and get used to that. Then you can shred another 60 pounds. Then you can go to another 40 pounds. This is how you lose masses of weight. You try to lose it all at once, you're going to fail. You're going to gain it all back. You got to let your body and your mind catch up. So it's chunks. They say what's the best way to eat an elephant? A chunk at a time. So same thing with this step one, the Sanskrit word. Don't start out a hero at the beginning. Wind up a hero at the end by busting through these plateaus. Start your goals out gradual. And when you save that energy for when you hit that first plateau or that first wall, so you can climb over that wall. His second thing is called Newton's law of momentum, which is everything that is in motion tends to stay in motion. Things at rest tends to stay at rest. So the theory behind that is just get started. Just go. And I use this with the gym all the time. Just showing up to the gym, getting on one of those machines, you're going to wind up doing something. as opposed to never leaving the house. Well, if you never leave the house, you're never going to go to the gym. Go to the gym, even if you half-fasted, that's better than doing absolutely nothing. And most of the time, once you get past that first hurdle, that initial fatigue, you're back. The routine takes over. So you're going to get most likely going to get a good workout. Same thing with business. I know that you're tired. You don't want to pitch this person, make this extra phone call. But just dial a number. The instinct's going to kick in once you do it. So the things that's in motion tend to stay in motion. Things that's stagnant and sedentary tend to stay that way. So just get going. Do something in the morning. Do something every day. You know, I know a lot of people look at these goals and like roll over and but just get started. I'll give you an example. Like I said, I do my open houses. I don't like doing them. But when I get going, it's easy. I get in the groove. My thing is to just get out there. You know, so that's part 2. Third part, I like a lot. It really needs to be a lecture on its own. It's called Ripples. And it's almost like the butterfly effect, as best I can say it. Saying that everything in life responds to something else, and everything in life responds to you. So if you don't do this, then this won't happen. And if this don't happen, then this won't happen. And if that won't happen, this won't happen. So you have to realize this. So everything has an effect on everything else. Let me take it another way. I'll give you an example for me. If I don't hit this gym and don't look presentable in the camera, then my numbers are going to kind of stay the same. Sad to say, I don't care how intellectual you are. I don't care how good content you are. In this particular third density, it's all about looks and sex appeal. Can Brad Pitt really act? No. It's all about sex appeal. Will Smith and all those guys? No. People buy the tickets because they subconsciously, girls and guys, should I say, subconsciously either want to be him or want to G him. You know, to keep it PG. And that's sad to say. You get more audience based on appearance than actual substance, which is sad. But I'm saying that to say this. So I got to do these workouts. I got to look a certain way. In order to be in front of the camera, you got to do this. Not only that depends on more business. More business depends on me serving my purpose on this. So all of this has an effect. So when you try to skip out and cut corners on stuff, think about the ripple effect. How this is going to cascade and bring this down. This is going to cascade and bring this down. So it's all a mental thing, but it's true. In psychology, because it keeps you on the path. The stuff that you don't like doing, you wind up doing because you realize how it affects everything as a whole. So that's called the ripple effect. Number 4, I like a lot as well. It's called gradualism. And we talked about it in part 1 a little bit as well. You set your goals in very, very, very small increments. Gradually. The old cliche, Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to be a billionaire overnight. Even people that's with silver spoons in their mouth don't come out and make $1 billion in a week. It's a gradual thing. So set your goals, 10x your goals, but also put them in gradual increments. Don't try to go from 0 to 100. Go from 0 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. You go to 0 to 100, most likely you're either going to lose control of the car or you're going to crash. It's also called the Kaizen method. I used to talk about this all the time in sales training. It's a whole nother lecture, but the Kaizen method and gradualism, one piece at a time. Add one piece at a time. Same thing I'm doing with my business. I got started with loans. This year I added last year really added the podcast. This year added the visual to it, getting better and better and better and better. Add a piece at a time until you get the whole collective. You try to start everything out perfect. Again, like I said before, perfection is the enemy of profit. Start off with a piece at a time, gradually learn. This that action itself, you're going to learn and get feedback from people, and you're going to learn how to twist and turn it to tweak it and perfect it. So I like part 4 a lot. Part 5, he talks about controllable. And what he says is take a T-chart together. Once you are in motion, take a T-chart and put what you can control, what's controllable and what's not controllable, and list those things out. And what's uncontrollable, what's out of your hands, you can't do anything about, but you can tweak what's controllable until the uncontrollable things become minute. So don't let uncontrollable things stop your action because they're uncontrollable. Just tweak what you can control. So that's the 5 steps basically, and I highly recommend. I highly recommend this book. It's called The Art of Taking Action. Now, how do I take these 5 steps that I'm talking about and apply it to the billionaire mind state? How do I take the steps that I embarked on and transfer it to where it can make me some money? And let's take all this stuff and bring it to a head. So I studied epigenetics. I traced my childhood. I changed my environment. I moved, in fact, became the top student in the game. I made operating systems and putting systems in place and sketched out game plans and goals that's going to make me the top in my field. Now I got my mind right, psychology-wise, and I'm taking action every day with these 5 steps, in the art of taking action. How can I use this? How can I take this and take myself to the next level? What do I need to do? That's the game plan. First of all, let me say this. Well, people that's heavily melanated, that's in my community, we have a lot of gods in certain fields. Give you an example, like Michael. I was listening to Michael Jackson the other day, man. He was a god in arranging songs and producing songs. Him and Quincy Jones, just the way they arranged it was just picture perfect. The pitches, the different subject content and writing, just uncanny. Kobe Bryant was a god as far as playing basketball, just the amount and just bringing things into fruition and willing himself into being the best. We have so many gods in other fields of entertainment. Why can't we have a god in finance? Why, when it comes to finance and money, it's a taboo? Oh no, this is somebody other. This is the quote unquote white man stuff. This is the root of all evil. But yet, every other rap song is about getting money. Every other R&B song is about getting money. Every time you talk to somebody, they always on their grind. They talking about getting money. Where's your God? Where's our example of getting money? Most people I talk to, remember, I'm in the finance. are financially illiterate. They don't know how to do taxes. They don't know they don't know anything about retirement plans. They don't know anything about the economy. They don't know how any of this stuff works. But they know how to consume. They know how to spend the money. They know how to give the money right back. This is my purpose. I've come to be the God, the GOAT of turning the dollar into 15 cents, mastering this system, this financial system that they set up. Why can't we participate in this system and not just be the consumer? Why can't we be the capitalists? Why can't we win the game of capitalism? I disagree with people that say that the Caucasian came up with the capitalist system. We helped them. It's our system. This much is theirs. You love it. You love it here. Our women love it here. Knock it off. Those guys that's trying to overthrow the system and I'm going to go back to Africa, do this, I'm going to do that. You're still going to need money. And there's going to be a bunch of guys and no women over there because the women like the BMWs. The women love these high-rise condominiums. The women love the shopping for red bottoms. They ain't going nowhere. So get with the program. You need to learn about finance. You need to learn about intergenerational wealth. You need to get into the billionaire mind state. Knock it off. So I'm saying that to say this. We need to get into not only finance, but even if you want to be in the billionaire mind state of whatever you want to do, the end equation is going to be money. And we have to be financially literate in order to keep this money and keep this money under your last name and keep this money in our community. Why is this a boogeyman? Why is this not widespread? Why is this hush hush that we want to learn about everything else? We know about all these rims. We know about what jeweler's the best. We know about the restaurants. What restaurants are the best? What club is turned up? But what about RIAs, 401k? What 401k is the best? What about the economy? What causes interest rates to go up and down? We don't know. We don't know anything about buying houses. I was talking to one of my people. I'm not going to put him on blast, but he didn't even know about comps as far as real estate. We don't know nothing about real estate. How you going to be a hustler? You don't own real estate. You're renting. So we got to stop the foolishness and stop being afraid of being a capitalist. Embrace it. Embrace the mind state. If you're going to be the GOAT, you're going to need to know about making this money because money's going to come. If you're the best in your profession, money should come. If you're not, you're in the wrong profession. And from there, you need to learn how to manage your money. So get in the billionaire mind state. Get in the mind state to outdo yourself. Again, it's not for everybody. I told you that in the first couple of lectures. Most people, 90% of people won't bust a grape. 90% of people will not take action. So I'm not talking to them. I'm trying to expand that 1%. Maybe we get to 2%, 3%. So they got 10% of people that I'm talking to that might make a play and just don't know where to go from there. Or they freeze up like a deer in the headlights, don't know what to do next. Because I tell you, making $1 million is easy. You can make $1 million like that. That's nothing. Try to make 10 million, 100 million. Now you got to have some skill. For those who can't even paycheck to paycheck, we're not talking to you. I'm talking to people that can make $1 million, can put together a couple of plays and make $1 million. Now where do I go? How do I get to this billionaire state? This is what I've been giving you. Stay tuned. Take these 3 steps. Do your due diligence. Buy the next book. So that's gonna be one of the challenges. Buy the next book. And it is copyrighted now, so I can say it. It's called I Am the Book. I Am the Book. Coming out in the next few weeks. Buy the book. I talk about all this stuff. I talk about the metaphysics stuff. Talk about the billionaire mind state. I talk about a lot of stuff in there. So this is going to be one of those masterpiece, monumental, Dianetic type, L. Ron Hubbard type books. It's going to blow you away. So again, I'm not going to keep y'all too long. Learn how to take action. Practice these 5 steps. I talked about the second part about using that dissatisfaction, so I don't really have to go over that again. But use whatever you need to as fuel to get to the next level. Use whatever you need to. And this is only built for Cuban links. It's only for a very, very few, very, very small slather of the population. The movers and the shakers. The ones that can actually, most people, this is not for everybody. So most people want to stay asleep. Leave them sleep, man. Just sell them your pillow. You're spending your time trying to wake people up. You can spend your time selling products or put more money in your pocket. Some of the wake certain people up is futile. Futile. So again, I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. Buy the book. This is a prologue. If you like this type of subject matter, you like this practical stuff mixed with the occult, using the metaphysics and binding them together to bring things to fruition. That's what the book is about. I Am the Book. Coming out real soon. Go to www.billionaireloanofficer.com for more details. It's going to be on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. Again, you can call me 832-775-8357. Call me 24/7. I'm going to end it right there, man. I'm not going to dive too deep into everything. You want a deeper look, you want deeper insight, buy the book. Probably going to be $19 or so. Not that much, but we got to learn how to start investing in ourselves, investing in that second part when I talk about upload beats. And again, it's all a 3-part. I told you, if you look at the 3-part of the lecture, it's the asking you should receive, seeking you should find, knocking the door should be open up to you. 3rd part of all the taking action is actually getting your butt up and knocking on the door. You actually have to get your butt up and knock on the door in order for the door to be opening to you. So you got to take this action. You got to do all of this stuff that you planned out when you uploaded these new software, these new applications, and you have to actually do it a day in and a day out, and then bust through these plateaus and get better and better and better and better and better at this stuff. Just what it is, and make tweaks along the way. Never stopping your feet. Grind until you're done. A lot of people want to take these vacations. They make one. I've seen people make 1 or 2 good plays and then they go on vacation for the next couple of months. Man, keep on grinding, man. Keep on grinding. Keep making plays until you can't make plays anymore. That's the billionaire mind state. Not make one play just to fund my vacation. You're not that fragile. You're not that important. So billionaire mindset is this. Why are you spending money to go look at other people's accomplishments? I'm going to go halfway around the world, spend all these thousands of dollars to look at a building somebody else built. Why not make your own building? Why not once I get to 100 million, then I go on a vacation where I can look at this building, then do, oh, I like that building. I'm gonna take a copy of that, build my own version of it. Nah, we taking our last few pennies to go on this quote unquote enjoyment. So you gotta break yourself away from the worker mentality and get into the billionaire mind state. I'll take a vacation. Those things ain't going. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is not going anywhere anytime soon. Stuff is going to be there. So suck it up. A lot of people get into these relationships too. That you gotta keep her entertained. You shoot yourself in the foot. A person always said, like, the women always gonna be at the finish line to embrace the winner. So you better be that winner. So if you're worried about the women now, you hadn't even hit the finish line, you're bound to not even finish the race. So it just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. Hate to tell you, but again, like I said in the first one, it's in your Bible, man. You have to sacrifice a lot of stuff in order to follow this particular path. And it's not for everybody, so just is what it is. So last thing, follow me on social media at Billionaire Loan Officer on all social media. Like, subscribe. Go ahead, support us on the app. Go to Anchor and go ahead and be one of our supporters on the Power of Ownership podcast. You can pledge 99 cents, $5 or $10 a month. Let's keep it going. Let's help us keep it going. Be a supporter of the podcast if you like the content. Again, last plug on the book. I Am the Book. Out this spring. Cop it. I will probably do pre-orders in the next couple of weeks. So get your copy. Be one of the first to get your copy. With that, remember, God is a verb, and personal responsibility is your only savior. And with that, I'm going to say peace.